Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Think About It Thursday. Whew, got a lot to get into. We've got some news and we've got some social commentary for you all tonight, per usual. Uh, it's just one shit show after another, especially with this administration. But let's get through this the best way that we can. Okay. Okay. Coming from Fox News, Nome warns of unprecedented threat level for ICE agents, blames lies from Democrats. What? Anytime they say lies, they're talking about the truth being told about them and anyone associated with them. But let's get into it. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is sounding the alarm over what she describes as an intense rise in violence targeting immigration officers. She explained the threats against ICE agents were getting worse and blamed inflammatory rhetoric from the left. Some of these Democratic leaders in some of these communities and states are really, really elevating the emotion out there and lying and putting these officers' lives in jeopardy, Noem said on Fox and Friends Thursday. What lie, though? They're operating like the Gestapo. And she's out here acting as if it was a reality show. And I haven't forgotten that she was pitched a reality show regarding immigration. Remember, it's supposed to be like the amazing race for immigration. If you completed all these tasks, you could get your immigration. I guess she decided not to go with that. But there have been a couple of sightings, and people have done news interviews regarding watching her get hair and makeup done before raids. Yes, the Homeland Security Secretary is out while raids are being conducted. Mhm. They are just upholding the rule of law. It really is unprecedented, this environment that we're in. No, they're not upholding the rule of law. They have no warrants. They're criminalizing civil cases. They're not picking up criminals. They're not upholding the rule of law. They're upholding the rule of Stephen Miller. I'm not even going to say Trump because Trump doesn't know what's going on. Okay? He doesn't know what's going on. The only thing he knows is that he gets Diet Coke from a push of a button and he gets to lie on camera. And he thinks that's bigly and great. Her remarks come after an attack on officers in Alvarado, Texas, last Independence Day. A group of heavily armed individuals used fireworks and graffiti to lure ICE agents into a parking lot near a migrant facility. Phrases like traitor and ice pig were spray painted onto their personal vehicles. First of all, why were they on the job using personal vehicles? Okay. Second, and I've said this before on lives and here on this podcast, Trump set the precedent. He and his administration, the people that are in his administration from their previous podcasts, interviews, etc., that violence was the way to handle things. So when it comes to handling Trump and showing disdain, they're going to do that with violence. He pardoned insurrectionists who participated in his self coup. Each time there's an act of violence, they act like it wasn't violent. And the individuals who participated in this, they're very much so utilizing their white privilege to do so. Because they know, yes, they will be punished, but not as harsh as anyone else. They won't be created into a monolith, or their community won't be looked at as a monolith, and everybody in their community isn't going to be held accountable for what they did. But Trump has set a precedent that when you don't like something, you use violence. He has eliminated diplomacy. John Wayne, he's decided to encourage people to John Wayne themselves through life. While officers responded, shots were fired from nearby, striking one local police officer in the neck who is expected to survive. Nome said attacks like this are part of a troubling pattern. The Department of Homeland Security told Fox News they've seen assaults against ICE officers rise nearly 700% since the same time last year, something Nome called unprecedented. What was different last year? Not to mention, let's throw this caveat in here. They're showing no proof for this 700% increase. Shocker. But many of these officers refuse to identify themselves. They don't show any identification. They don't say that it's a warrant. There have been multiple stories of people impersonating ICE agents because it's the easiest thing to do at this point. Impersonators have even been caught on film and blasted all over social media platforms. So, yeah, people are fighting back. And ICE is immediately becoming aggressive from multiple reports. And once again, video footage that's all over the internet. Like, how did they think this was going to go in a country that has a subset of the population that has wet dreams about a Civil War 2.0? Like, how did they really think this was going to go? Especially since some way, somehow, while being expressly and blatantly racist, homophobic, transphobic, all the phobics, using all the isms, they were able to attract subsets of marginalized communities that they are largely targeting now to vote for them, stand side by side with them, to be their mouthpieces, to say the things that they know would get them canceled, would get them consequences. And now they're rounding them up. And speaking of one individual that was rounded up, y'all remember the Iranian woman whose husband, while his children were crying and he was not comforting those children whatsoever, said that he didn't regret his vote. He still had his Trump merch out as his wife was being hauled off by ICE. She was released. She was released. While there's a fatwa on Trump's head, she was released. And no, I have nothing against Iranian people. I don't. I don't. There are extremists from every community, every single one. But I do know the complexion game. And because her husband got up there and was like, no, we love Trump and we're going to continue to love Trump. And somebody said, jokingly, they said this, that they believe that the husband called ICE on the wife, that he had a newer model that he was ready to move in, but now he can't do that anymore. But I want you to see, when I say that people that would vote for Trump, they are only loyal to themselves. They like to use Trump as a shield from accountability. They like to blame their thoughts and ideologies on Trump as if he taught them this overnight. Trump was red-pilled, okay? Trump was indubitably red-pilled. This man, a fellow immigrant, married to an immigrant, did not care that his children were torn up and was willing to sacrifice his wife. As my good friend, Thomas the Villain Bishop, would say, it couldn't have been me because it would have been some misunderstandings and furniture moving. I kid you not. I kid you. Oh, the way I would have flipped everything over. Everything would have gotten flipped over after I found it. It's been rough here lately. A little side note to give everybody a chuckle since all the news and everything is so freaking stressful. I spent 20 minutes before we went live looking for this mic. It's not very big. It's not. Like this is the case for the mic. You see how small that is? Y'all, it was sitting in my lap. Then I spent another 10 minutes looking for my glasses that were sitting next to me. So yeah, the stress is real. But we're gonna get through this and we're gonna get through this together. So coming from oops, clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, coming from ABC News, federal agents clash with protesters during ICE raid at Southern California farm. Because that's what we need right now. We already have crops that are just wilting away, just going to waste. We need to just keep rounding people up that are doing their jobs. And I'm telling you, the mental gymnastics people are doing to still try to say that immigrants don't work and just milk the system. Okay. Federal agents clashed with protesters during an immigration raid at a farm in Southern California, one of at least two large scale raids in the region on Thursday. The incident occurred outside of an agricultural farm along Laguna Road in Camarillo area of Ventura County. ABC News Los Angeles station observed several clashes between onlookers or protesters, and at least one person was detained. Footage from the clashes saw federal agents pinning someone to the ground, but it's the ICE agents that are receiving all the violence, right? Federal agents who were masked during the clashes appeared to use crowd control measures, including deploying irritants. Another large-scale immigration operation was seen in Carpinteria, my apologies if I mispronounced that, California, north of Ventura County. The coastal town's city council called for a meeting on Thursday to discuss the uptick in immigration enforcement in the area, which saw two raids earlier this week, according to the city. There are immigrants everywhere in this country. Are you now beginning to see a pattern as to where enforcement is the most, where Trump and his administration, or actually Stephen Miller's administration, is concentrating the vast majority of these forces? It's no different than where federal aid is going during all of these natural disasters. On Monday, heavily armed federal border agents and U.S. troops descended upon MacArthur Park in Los Angeles as a part of an immigration raid that appeared to turn up mostly empty. Why do we need to raid parks? Hey, Vix, why do we need to raid parks? If you're looking for criminals, why are we going to work sites, immigration check in appointments, courts, recreational facilities? Like, why are we doing this? They even went to a museum to round up people. I've said it before. Let me remind you all again. Their goal is to arrest slash detain 1 million people. This was their quote. This was Tom Homan's quote. He didn't say immigrants. He said people. This is why they're attacking birthright citizenship, etc. And for those of y'all that are upset at Auntie Maxine Waters wanting to launch an investigation into the immigration status and process of the FLOTUS, the current FLOTUS, Melania Trump, cut it out. Cut it out. Because the biggest secret and the best kept secret thus far in the United States is her immigration process. And anytime she's asked about it, there's slight changes to it. And if we're going to put birthright citizenship into question, and if we're going to eliminate it, then we have a constitutional crisis. Because I don't know if you all realize, but Donald John Trump Sr. is in all technicality an anchor baby. Everybody keeps focusing on Barron Trump. But you're forgetting Trump Sr.'s history from his paternal grandparents to his mother. Trump's an anchor baby who comes from a line of people who did not do things by the book, by the rules of immigration. And also, let me remind you all, stop calling Trump a patriot. The Trump family, I'm sorry, the Trump family is not here by choice. They didn't look and go, oh, the United States seems so great. Let's go there and let's make it. No, they were using the United States as a cover, a safe haven from inscription. They did not want to participate in the military. Oh, they'll go to military schools. They'll put on the military uniforms. They want all the pomp and circumstance of the military, just not the hard work and dedication and the service that goes along with it. They're not in Germany right now because Germany said, we don't want you. So please stop calling this a family of patriots. Absolutely not. When you have no other choices, that's not patriotism. All righty, got more politics. Now we know that the GOP is beginning to lose people, and as people are like, you know what, I'm not running anymore. This is bullshit. Um, Even though they've been immoral for the vast majority of many of their careers, they're like, this is a bridge too far. So they're speaking up. Now, people that are still going to stick it out for now, aren't really speaking up. But we know from different memoirs, different interviews that have happened over the years, especially in regards to Trump, they don't like him. They'll say it behind closed doors. They can't stand it. But whatever he or anybody else has on them, they're running scared. So they really cannot afford to lose anyone else. And word on the curb is that they're afraid that Joni Ernst is going to announce her retirement. Now, honestly, that would be the best thing for her because I really don't know how well she's going to do in an election after all of the things that she's said and done. She thought that at her big old age that it was good to treat people as if we're dispensable, as if we're disposable. And regardless of where you stand on the political aisle, and she's stood against her own track record. She stood against her own lived experience. Now, there are others that are like, it would be a little foolish for her to do all of this and jeopardize her reputation for her to back out. I think she needs to just go ahead and retire effective immediately before she further tarnishes her legacy. But that's just me. Now, coming from USA Today, Trump just accidentally told the truth about Epstein. If you listen to Donald Trump long enough, eventually he will tell you the truth by accident. That was the case during the president's July 8th cabinet meeting when he intercepted a journalist's question for Attorney General Pam Bondi about Jeffrey Epstein. A former Trump pal, Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting minors for sex in 2008 and then killed himself in federal prison in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges during Trump's first term as president. Trump's MAGA base has been apoplectic since Bondi's department issued a memo this week that repudiated two conspiracy theories that have been long flogged by Trump allies. The memo confirmed that Epstein wasn't murdered and denied that he left behind a client list of wealthy, powerful people he had blackmailed. Trump with melodramatic indignation, proclaimed that he could not believe he was hearing a question about Epstein despite it being all over the news, while another former pal, Elon Musk, used it as payback in his seething dispute with the president. Are you people still talking about this guy, this creep Trump asked? That is unbelievable. And there it is, Trump's truth. Nothing he or Bondi or his administration says about Epstein is believable. Trump then added a second truth. He said Bondi answering the questions would be a waste of time. And he was right again. Bondi wasted our time in a preposterous attempt to walk back her own words from February when she told Fox News that Epstein's client list was sitting on her desk waiting for her review as part of a directive from Trump. The client list, her department now says, doesn't exist. Unbelievable, all of it. Musk, in a June 5th post on X, which he owns, said Trump is in the Epstein files. And this is what I was trying to explain to people earlier. Because they're like, well, Elon Musk had access to everything. He saw the list. He saw this. No, he said that Trump was in the Epstein files. And the files are witness accounts, videos, pictures. These are all things that they've confirmed that they have. But let's break this down for a little bit. First of all, I need y'all to stop saying, oh, they're just covering up the fact that he was killed because he was going to spill the beans. That man had ample time to spill the beans. He did not want to be incarcerated. He easily could have had his attorney negotiate a plea deal if he had people to implicate at that level. Also, by the time Epstein was found deceased, that was not his first suicide attempt. They knew that he was suicidal. Also, I don't know what y'all think can be done in a minute, but everything leading up to his cell was on camera. There's 1 minute missing. And before you go, well, it's possible. No, it's not. Somebody would have had to come up the elevator. They would have had to know the precise month. They would have had to time that elevator. Nobody else could have been getting on and off the elevator because they needed that elevator to get to that floor at a precise time. In 60 seconds, they would have had to exit the elevator, get up to his cell, kill him, stage it like a suicide, get back on the elevator, not just get out of the cell, but get off the unit in 60 seconds. And also, this infamous client list, have you noticed that the client list didn't come up in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial? There's no real articles about it. There's no talk about it outside of Trump and his administration and his cronies from their podcast, from the campaign trail, all of this fear mongering when they were trying to attack the Biden family, when they were calling them the Biden crime family and trying to insinuate that Joe Biden was a pedophile. You want to know where this started from? There was a civil case. There was a sealed list of 150 John Does. Now, these were not co-conspirators. These were not people that were implicated in the case. These were people who were asked about the case. You know, hey, did you know Epstein? Did you know what he was doing at the house? Did you know anything about what Ghislaine was doing? Stuff like that. The names have since been made public. The information has been unredacted. It wasn't a client list. Somebody looked at that and was like, oh, there's a list of names. That must be the client list. And they ran with it. And since then, nobody's fact-checked it. Everybody has taken a bit of conspiracy theory and made it appear as if it is fact. And there's now a grand conspiracy to cover up a list that never fucking existed. It's like this is this generation's new extra bullet and extra shooter, like they had with JFK Jr. I mean, JFK Sr., sorry. And then the people that are now trying to make Ghislaine Maxwell some feminist icon, like just waiting for Pam Bondi to come and pardon you and come get you out. But you're just a woman that nobody cares about. Ghislaine Maxwell was married the whole fucking time she was fucking around with Jeffrey Epstein. She was recruiting young girls, intimidating them, grooming them, bribing them, covering for him. And newsflash, you can traffic people and not have a list written down. I need y'all to stop acting like this is the Lolita case. This is not Heidi Fleiss. So about, oh, she's in prison for trafficking. Who did she traffic to? Everybody doesn't have a little black book sitting around. Y'all are worried about that, but you're not worried about the evidence, the video and photographic evidence that's far more damning and would tell you who's involved. And I know a lot of people are hung up on flight logs, flight logs, flight log. Baby, let me explain something to you. I think y'all need to think about a wealthy person's private plane the same way you think about your car, okay? Because that's pretty much how they use it most of the time. Hey, I hear you're going to such and such. Can I hop a ride on there? Yeah, come on. If you give a friend a ride somewhere, and then down the line you find out that they're a creep, does that mean you're a creep because you gave them a ride? Think about if you had to keep a log of everybody you let in and out of your car. And no, I'm not making excuses for anybody. I need you all to think these things through. I need you all to stop saying that people are guilty because at one point in their life they did business with this person or they were associates with this person, because we all have different levels of friendship. I have people that I've been friends with for a while and we've never been inside each other's homes. That is not the nature of our relationship. I have friends that I could not tell you their spouses' names because I'm not around their spouses. We get together for certain things. That is the nature of that friend group. And we've seen multiple times over the years when exposés come out about predators, they are very good at hiding who they are. And I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. Someone that I went to high school with that I thought was a cool person found out on the news that they were trafficking drugs. Like, never would have seen it, never would have suspected it. Everything about him that he presented was squeaky clean. Everything. And when they were talking about what they found in his house, there were people like, whoa, wait a minute. I've been all up and through this house. In the area that they said this stuff was in, I was there. I saw nothing. People were posting pictures from that place. Like, where did he have it at? And once again, not making excuses for anybody, but trying to get y'all to think things through. Y'all will pick apart somebody's life that you don't like and think that you're Inspector Clouseau, but you're Inspector Gadget minus Penny. But when you really need to pick things apart and really need to look at it, you don't. You hear something that just confirms your already rampant bias and this need to feel like you're Benson from Law and Order SVU or Tutuola, and you run with it. But I guess if you like it, I love it. Now, I told you it has been a week, and it has especially been a day. Bear with me. There are a couple of videos lined up to discuss. Like I said, there's going to be some social commentary, and I did not label this, so we're gonna watch it together, and so we'll figure out together what it entails. I'll see you in 2 and 2.
Y'all, I never thought I'd see the day where I was excited to see.
Okay, that was a leftover video from last night, so my apologies. This one I did label. I told y'all it has been like, but I'm glad that did pop up. Great segue. Joining me from now on Tuesdays for Talk About It Tuesdays will be the controversial blonde, that lovely, lovely woman that you just saw. And if you missed last night's show for our monthly Wisdom Wednesdays, I promise I can talk. You should go take a look at that. It was a great conversation. And make sure you're here to join us on Tuesdays. But let's get into our coon of the day. The current CEO of the Coontastic Coalition. See you in 2 and 2.
Black women are the most destructive women in America. Your anger, your attitude, and your aggressiveness makes you the least desired and least attractive women in the country. The reason for why we see so many black men moving to white women and Latino women is because you bring more problems than solutions to a relationship.
Um, I'm not going to do what the obvious that most people do. Here's the thing. For people to consistently say that black women are undesirable, that we're this, that we're that, but they just rename, repackage, rebrand the things that they say are detriments in us for other people, and they just love it. Why are you always in our business? Why do you bring us up in conversations? If you don't want to be with us, if you don't desire a relationship with us of any type, not a friendship, familial, whatever, if you think us, your mama, your grandmama, your sisters, your female cousins, all of that is not for you, why do you feel the need to bring us up? Because I know what I am not attracted to. There's no reason for me to bring it up unless I'm in a conversation and somebody asks me and I just go, no, that's not my thing. I'm not attracted to that. But, there's no reason for me to bring it up and make it the focus. Because when you do that, that's what's going to be in your face. Life is one big living, breathing algorithm. What you put out into the universe will give to you. So if I'm sitting here complaining about a type of person, guess what I'm going to keep running into? Guess who's going to want to keep talking to me to prove that they're not like the other ones? But that's their goal. That is their goal. They feel the need to try to humble Black women, and they think that they can invoke a sense of competition. It's no different than it was a package that was sold through an infomercial in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And it was a program called Negging, where they tried to tell men, oh, you can get any woman you want, if you just give them negative compliments and all this stuff. And they feel the need to prove you wrong, that competitive streak in them. Yeah, those people that bought into that program have not had successful relationships. And those are the red pill incels of today, for the most part. And the ones that did end up in relationships, they're not healthy. They're not happy. And you can tell. You can tell. Especially when they get online. You can tell that that's the program that they came from, because you can hear how they're talking about their partners. That you can hear how they're talking about their spouses. They're still trying to humble them. Because instead of saying, you know what? I don't want to lose you. I'm afraid to lose you. They nitpick and complain so that they have their partner constantly chasing that they're not focused on anything else. Eventually, people get tired and they don't want to chase no more. Don't nobody want that much exercise. Now, on the flip side, if you are attracted to someone, please ask yourself some crucial questions. Why are you attracted to this person? Is it the person as an individual? Or do you have fantasies about a community of people? Are you objectifying them? Are you treating them as if you're going into the butcher shop, picking out a fresh piece of meat? Not sure what I'm talking about? I'm going to show you. Once again, see you in 2 and 2.
Hey, black men, why do you have so much ego? No, seriously. You walk around like you invented gravity. Like the air gets thicker when you show up. Like you knew that we were going to look before you even said a word. And don't get me started on that walk. You know the one. At first I thought it was cocky, but now I see it for what it really is. It's confidence built from generations who had to fight just to survive. It's pride that says, I will not shrink for anyone. It's survival turned into style. It's knowing that you've got magic in your melanin, power in your presence, and fire deep within your soul, and not apologizing for any of it. And the best part, You bring all that energy into the world and you still find a way to make other people feel seen. You still know how to laugh from deep within your chest. You still protect, you nurture, you flirt, and you love with your whole heart. So yeah, black men might have a little too much ego, but I'd say they've earned almost every single bit of it. And I hope that you never dim that light for anyone. And this snow bunny right here, she's not here to dim your light. She's here to reflect it right back onto you. And keep walking like that crown is glued the fuck on. Because let's be real, it is. Black men, if you are enjoying my sermons, please save them, share them to the other black men in your life. Comment, like, and follow. I will be going live again this weekend, so make sure you set up your alerts. I so appreciate you being part of this little congregation that we.
Now, before you go, but Taz, she's just complimenting black men. She's just trying to uplift them. We're fresh off the hills of men's mental health awareness. I need you to pay attention. This is what I talk about when sometimes people give a pretty tone and sprinkle in a few pretty words while they're wheeling you in to serve you bullshit. Keep in mind, she started off saying that black men have too much ego. She started talking about ego. Then she said some of it is deserved. She's letting them know, stay in your place. But I'm going to celebrate you. I'm going to be better for you than your own women. And when she called herself a snow bunny, she knew exactly what she was doing. I'm going to seem small. Did you see her posturing? I'm going to seem small and, safe. I'm the default damsel in distress. You can come and you can save me anytime. I'm here to make you look good. Because all those others don't make you look good. And everything she said, she took bits and pieces from conversations that she's overheard from the Black community and put them together. She wants to come off as giving you that sister swag, but not quite. She's showing you that she looks at you like an accessory that can morph into a servant. Because she's going to need you to protect her from all the big, bad darkies that just don't like her being with the Black man. And her sermons to Black men? Why do you need a congregation of just Black men? And if you believe that these Black men are so great and such great leaders, why are you trying to lead them? Maybe because so many people want a Mandingo, but they don't want a Marvin. They want to get to know the bodies, but not the people, not the spirit, not the soul. Now, the next video, a little bit of news, a little bit of politics, a little bit of social commentary, all swooped up into one. Now, we've all been made aware of the unfortunate tragedy in Kerr County, Texas. Now, there are some people that are upset with a handful of Black people because they're pointing out that these were well-to-do white children. First of all, why would you put a camp in an area that has been dubbed Flash Flood Alley? Number one. Number two, you all know that you're exclusionary. See, that's that privatization point to uphold racism. Because if it's a private club, you can put any rules in place and you can code them however you want, but everybody knows the message at the end of the day is no melanin better cross this path. And people are reminding folks that this is what their parents and grandparents and neighbors and teachers, aunts and uncles, older cousins voted for. And it is an unfortunate tragedy. But remember, they were saying that children with life-threatening ailments that were being deported and threatened to be deported, that was the choice of their parents. These are the consequences of their parents' actions. They weren't outraged about that. But then some transcripts and some audio came out recently that confirmed that yes, this is literally what they voted for. They need to put a pause in their suffering because they essentially sent their loved ones to horrific, terrifying deaths. Trigger warning. And I just pulled a video with just the transcripts being read.
So first, county officials told us that the local people would not vote for anything that would increase their taxes, and that's why they were not able to put in a new flood warning system. But now we're finding out that the Biden administration actually gave them the funds, and any amount of funds that they did use would be at no expense to taxpayers in Kerr County. But that would be socialism, right? Let me read to you meeting minutes where they discuss what to do with the funds sent from the Biden administration. Hi, my name is, and I'm here to ask this court today to send this money back to the Biden administration, which I consider to be the most criminal, treasonous, communist government ever to hold the White House. And Kerr County should not be accepting anything from these people. They're currently facilitating an invasion on the border, and we're going to support these people. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Now, ultimately, the county decided that they didn't want to use it to help the citizens and upgrade the flood system, but they actually couldn't let the money go back to blue states because that wouldn't be good. So they decided to keep the money and just use it all on their sheriff's department because somehow it's not socialism if they're using the money for police departments.
They had a meeting. They voted. Overwhelmingly, people did not want to take the money and use it for what it rightfully should have been used for. Now, in full disclosure, they do have a system where, you can get additional alerts and things like that, but you have to opt into it. And from what I'm seeing all over the internet, quite a few people did not know until after this tragedy that that was an option for them. Yes, we can talk about the current administration cutting funding, putting people out of work that were essential and are essential regarding our weather. And let us not forget that recently the Pentagon said that they will not be sharing microwave data from the Navy with NOAA. But these people still took the money and in good old United States fashion, dumped the money into the police force. And instead of saying, we fucked up, we will do better, we will fix this for our residents, especially those currently in mourning. You know what they did? They tried to blame a Black man who is a fire chief in a town 2 hours away. But what is it that they've been telling us? That white people are the ones that consistently hold themselves and each other accountable, that they don't pass the buck, that melanated folks are the ones that make everything racial and blame everything on people according to their race. They refuse to blame anyone who's actually involved in dropping the fucking ball and creating this perfect storm of death. And for the people going, see, Ted Cruz doesn't run away from tragedy. He showed up for the people 3 days later because he didn't want to interrupt his vacation in Greece. Kristi Noem is running with this narrative, and Trump is helping her with the narrative that her and DHS and FEMA rushed right on in. It's a damn lie. Check for yourself on Twitter. While this tragedy was unfolding, while these people needed immediate assistance, she was taking a poll to figure out which picture should be her official portrait. You want to know who immediately jumped into action? Two Hispanic young ladies and first responders from Mexico. Yes, once again, as much shit as far too many people in the United States talk about Mexico, once again, Mexico came to the rescue. Mexico came to the aid. They didn't wait for an official notice. They didn't give a damn about official channels. And they came prepared. And for the most part, media is ignoring their contributions. When we say that Euro Americans that refuse to deconstruct and enjoy their privilege of being white will lie and take credit from other people, you're watching it in living color. You can stop saying that we're reaching. You can stop saying that we're exaggerating because you're watching it unfold. We're in times where they can no longer hide what they're doing. We are able to chronicle it in a way that we could not before. There's no way you can deny what's going on right now. These are the same people complaining about the border, that it was people crossing the border that stopped more devastation and tragedy. These are the same people that will scream, protect the children. What about the children? But they had the funds to protect children and they did nothing. And also let this be a lesson that no matter how much privilege you have, no matter how much money, affluence, influence that you have, the ricochets of racism can be deadly, can be traumatic, and they do not care what you look like. Racism is the ultimate lesson in hate begets hate, and hate kills from the inside out. Now, in closing, I need to talk to y'all for a minute. I must admit that for a couple of months, unintentionally, I have been a hypocrite. Let me explain. I tell people all the time, you do not have to tell your personal business, but it is okay to tell people you are not okay. It is okay to take a moment and step back and make sure you're okay. And if you need to, talk to people about what you're going through. And I am here to offer my sincerest apologies and let you know that I am diligently working on correcting my hypocrisy because I have not done that. And I have not done that to the point where I have riddled myself with so much anxiety and stress that it is just not healthy. And I'm saying this because above all else, I will, to the best of my ability and knowledge, hold myself accountable. But I also say this because I know that there's somebody else out there doing the same thing, believing that no one will care, that no one will listen, that no one will help. Because as many people as I have around me, and I do know, would jump into action, would lend an ear, I had to face a hard truth that there is still a trauma that I have not healed from. I thought that I did, and it is becoming very evident that I took 2 steps and stopped. No, I'm not making excuses. I'm being honest. So I'm working on rectifying that now. I'm just asking for a little bit of patience and a little bit of grace and the use of your eyes and ears. Should you see me even slightly look like I'm spiraling, please let me know. Because a lot of times we don't notice our behaviors, and I don't want this to go to a dark place. I don't. So, um, and unfortunately, I came to this realization because one of the last elders that has been with me my entire existence is no longer here. And for some reason, people thought that it was a good idea not to tell me until a week after their memorial service. So, um, I am not okay, but I will be okay. In time. So, and with that, as always, I thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Think About It Thursday. I hope that I gave you at least a little bit of something to think about. If you enjoyed it, please come back and see me again on Tuesday. And like I said, brand new co-host, the controversial blonde. You will love her. And when you come back, bring a friend. As always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Be great.